Class 12 Sociology online video lectures. In my previous lecture, I was teaching you, or rather explaining you, about the different types of forms of marriages. Dear children, we have completed two types of marriages. One is exogamy and the other is endogamy. Let us quickly move on to the other forms of marriage, and as you can see on the board here, today I will be explaining cousin marriage, levirate and sororate. So that makes it another three different forms of marriages. Let us start off first with the cousin marriage. As you all know, the people who are related to us through blood are known as our cousins. We often refer to them as our kins. In my chapter on kinship, the video explanation on kinship, here we saw we have two types of relatives. One who are related to us through blood and the other who are related to us through the marriage. So what is cousin marriage? As you all can make out from the term itself, cousin marriage meaning the marriage that takes place between the cousins. In your textbook, you will find the topic on cousin marriage in page 1.42. Page 1.42 will give you the content for this topic on cousin marriage. So let's take a look at cousin marriage. It says here, cousin marriage is practiced among various Indian tribes. So this might come as a new thing to you. Because remember, when we did exogamy, I explained to you that we are not supposed to marry our own family members. But then again, I am talking about certain Indian tribes. Tribes are those groups, right? They are considered to be the original inhabitants of a particular place. And in India, we have a variety of tribes found in different regions. So some of the Indian tribes, I would like to quote it from the textbook. Gonds are from Madhya Pradesh. Khariya, they are also from Madhya Pradesh. The Oraos are found in West Bengal. Orao tribe is found in West Bengal. The Khasi tribe comes from the Khasi hills of northeastern India. Khasi hills of northeastern India. And the Kadar tribes of Kerala. So look at the variety. We have Gonds, we have Khariyas, we have Oraos, we have Khasis, we have Kadars, all belonging to different parts of India, but they have the system of cousin marriage. Cousin marriage can be divided into two types. I have written it on the board here. One is cross cousin marriage and the other one is parallel cousin marriage. So remember children, there are two types of cousin marriage. Let us start off with the cross cousin marriage first. Marriage between father's sister's children and mother's brother's children is called cross cousin marriage. So cross, please visualize the cross, alright? So here, who gets married to whom? In plain and simple language, the brothers and the sister, if in a family you have a brother and a sister, and they get married and have children. If the children of brothers and sisters get married to each other, again, if I have to explain in detail, if an individual gets married to an auntie's child, auntie meaning your father's sister's child, or somebody gets married to mother's brother's child. Now, mother's brother is your maternal uncle. Your father's sister is your paternal aunt. And their children will become cousins. But if the cousins are allowed, here children of brothers and sisters will get married to each other. There are some tribes which cross-cousin marriage is compulsory. Now it is very shocking. Again, you might find this a bit unusual that in some cases, some families will compel, they will in fact order the children to marry within the family. And who are these tribes? For example, a Gond. Please look at your textbook. It is mentioned a Gond must marry his cross-cousin. If they are not intended to do so, then they have to pay a compensation to the losing party. So there are some prescribed rules of marriage for this tribe called Gond. The Gonds are found in Madhya Pradesh, that is central India. Now, this tribe recommends, the cousins to marry each other. But supposing one individual declines, they do not want to get married and says, I don't want to marry my cousin. What happens if you break this marriage rule within the tribe? In that case, the rule is that you will have to pay a compensation. Compensation meaning fine. So to the other party. So supposing if you say, I will not marry my maternal uncle's daughter, if you don't want to marry a cousin sister, then you will have to pay a token amount, you will have to pay a compensation for the crime that you have committed. So the form of punishment is you will have to pay a compensation. A Khasi man or a woman can have a marriage only after the death of one's father if it involves the children of father's sister. Let's come to Northeast India. In Northeast India, the rule is different. What happens in Northeast India? Here, the rule is if you want to marry your father's sister's child, it could be the son or it could also be the daughter. So if you want to marry father's sister's children, in that case, you have to wait for the death of one's father. So if the father dies, they feel that the relation with the aunt will be cut off because aunt happens to be your father's sister. When the father is not there, the relationship, the bond with the sister will break up. In that case, you are allowed to marry the aunt's children. But if the father is still alive, such a marriage cannot take place. The Kadar prescribes marriage with paternal cousins. The Kadar tribe is from Kerala. Here again they are prescribing a marriage. But what kind of rule they have? They say you have to get married to your paternal cousins. Paternal meaning your father's sister's children. You are allowed to marry. You do not have to wait for the death of one's father. Next, coming to the Gonds of Madhya Pradesh practice cross-cousin marriage and call it Doodh Lautawa or the return of the milk. This is called so, as the bride price paid by the husband for his wife comes back to his own family through the marriage of his daughter with the son of his wife's brother. I will explain this in plain and simple language. Among the Gonds, we have already seen that cross-cousin marriage exists. There is also a system of paying bride price. As you can see in the textbook, bride price. All of you must have heard about dowry. During marriages, you must have heard about dowry system. In India, dowry system is nothing new. It is a social evil and we all know about the dowry system. What is bride price? Bride price is the opposite of dowry system. Whereas in a dowry system, if a token amount is given by the bride's family to the groom, that is the girl's family will give a certain amount of money to the groom. In the bride price, it is just the opposite. It is the groom's family who will have to pay a token amount to get the bride. So in the tribals, alright, in that particular society, Now, if you get married to the cousins, what happens? Supposing your cousin brother is giving the money to cousin sister because he is marrying her. When she comes home, what happens is that the bride price stays within the family. In that case, the amount is not taken by an outsider. The amount comes back to the family. It's just like, in plain and simple language, it is just like a 100 rupee note given by a brother to a sister. Brother is also from the same family, sister is also from the same family, which means the money remains home. The next one is parallel cousin marriage. Now, the main purpose of such marriage, according to Levi Strauss, is to strengthen the solidarity of the tribal group. Madan and Majumdar are of the opinion that it provides an opportunity for avoiding payment of high bride price, and as such, cross-cousin marriage is favored by most of the tribal people in India. So, again, let's go to the reason, because some of you might be thinking, why this sort of marriage? It has been given here. We have two explanations here. One is given by Levi Strauss. Levi Strauss feels that the reason why amongst the tribal people this sort of marriage was encouraged is because they wanted to maintain the solidarity. Solidarity meaning the unity of the group. They wanted to strengthen the group. They wanted to make the family stronger. They wanted to make the family also very pure in its traditions and culture. This is the reason why he feels, Levi Strauss feels, that such kind of marriage was encouraged. Coming to Indian anthropologists like Madan and Majumdar, they feel that it could be the avoidance of bride price. Among the tribals who were very poor, who were very backward, economically they were not sound. Most of the men could not get married as they could not pay the bride price. So therefore, if you are marrying your own cousins, then what happens is that the money is coming home. So you have two purposes which are met. One, you're getting married. Second, the money is also coming home. So cross-cousin marriage we have completed. In parallel cousin, think of parallel lines. All of you have done parallel lines in your mathematics classes. Parallel lines do not meet, right? Parallel meaning if you get married to only one side of the family. If you get married to the cousins of only one side of the family, that it could be only your maternal cousin or only your paternal cousin. Meaning, if an individual gets married only to the father's side of the family or only to the mother's side of the family, only one choice is there. In that case, such marriages are known as parallel cousin marriage. So I hope you have understood the different types of cousin marriage. One is cross cousin and the other one is parallel cousin. Let us now move to the other form of marriage called levirate. Right? Now what is levirate? Levirate and sororate for ISC comes for 2 marks. Normally they give you, it's frequently repeated in the objective section, differentiate between levirate and sororate. So let's move on to levirate. A marriage that takes place between one woman and several brothers is known as levirate. This is also known as fraternal or adelphic polyandry, and this can be of 2 varieties. In certain cases, if a man dies, his wife is inherited by the brother of the deceased husband, and sometimes the husband and his brother marry and enjoy a girl collectively. Now let me explain to you what is levirate. In a levirate, you have the marriage of, normally, if a woman gets married to, alright, more than one man. I'm repeating again. If a woman gets married to more than one man, okay, this is actually known as, this practice is actually known as polyandry. Alright? Now I will show this. I will show this with the help of a diagram. Like, I'm going to make a diagram here of, I'm just making a stick figure. We have one woman, alright? And she is getting married. In sociology, this equal to sign stands for marriage. If she is getting married to, let's say, the first man, man number 1, and again she gets married to another man. In this case, she is getting married twice, 1 and 2. This form of marriage actually is known as polyandry. Right? Now there are 2 types of polyandry. Again, there are 2 types of polyandry. One is fraternal polyandry and the other one is adelphic polyandry. Polyandry can be divided into 2 types. One is fraternal and the other one is adelphic. Fraternal meaning if these men, you can see in the picture 1 and 2. If these men are brothers, same family, that could be fraternal polyandry. But if these men are not related to each other, they are not brothers, not related to each other, from different families, from different places, in that case, it will be known as adelphic polyandry. So I hope you have understood. If a woman gets married to more than one man, it is known as polyandry. There are 2 types of polyandry. One is fraternal, meaning if those men are brothers, it becomes fraternal. Adelphic meaning if they are not brothers, then that will mean adelphic polyandry. Now coming to levirate. What happens in a levirate? Supposing she married man number 1. Let's excuse this one. She married man number 1 and he died. She had married but the husband died. What do we call a woman whose husband dies? We call her a widow. She becomes a widow. But if she marries for the second time, now she is married here, she married man number 2 here. This marriage is known as levirate. So here, what is the operative word? It is the husband dies. After the death of a husband, if the woman gets married for the second time, this sort of marriage is known as levirate. Alright? Now, it says here that this practice of being actual or potential mate to one's husband's brother is called levirate. This custom is found among Santals, Hos, Sauras, Puyas, Mundas, etc. Marriage of the widow with the deceased husband's elder brother is called senior levirate, and when it happens with the younger brother of the husband, it is called junior levirate. Now supposing the first man and the second man, they were brothers. Okay, so this one is the elder brother and this one is the younger brother. In most of the Indian tribes, if we have a widow, right? Let's say the elder brother died, he passed away, and we have a widow. If the widow is very young, if she is very young, and the group or the society or the families feel that she should get a second chance, that she should remarry, and in that case, if she is very, very comfortable with the younger brother of the husband, alright, that way the families only recommend her to get married. And if she ends up getting married to her husband's younger brother, it is called junior levirate. There are two types of levirate, junior levirate. And if she gets married to the husband's elder brother, yes, now I think you all have guessed it, it is called senior levirate. Most of the times, senior levirate is not practiced. The most common thing is junior levirate. In Sanskrit, this used to happen even amongst the Hindus, right? This practice was done. And among the Hindus, if you married your husband's younger brother, in Sanskrit, this marriage is called, I will just write it out here. The word in Sanskrit is Devaram. Devaram meaning if you marry your husband's younger brother. Then, marriage of the widow with the deceased husband's elder brother is called senior levirate. When it happens with the younger brother of the husband, it is called junior levirate. Among Kharya, if the elder brother dies, the younger brother can marry his widow. But if the younger brother dies, the elder brother can never marry his widow. That I have explained. The most common and popular form is the junior levirate. Senior levirate seldom exists. In Biro community, younger brother of a husband can marry his elder brother's widow. But if he objects such marriage, he is to arrange the marriage of his brother's widow and with some other person and can take the dowry himself. So supposing if the elder brother dies, the younger one has to marry. But if he doesn't want to marry, it's his personal choice not to get married to his sister-in-law who is now a widow. He has to take the responsibility of arranging her marriage elsewhere, and in that case, after getting married, he can take the dowry. So for all the arrangement, management, for all the hard work and responsibility that he has taken, he can settle it down and can take the dowry himself. Now we should ask ourselves, why did the society encourage this kind of marriage? Why was the society telling the widows to get remarried? Let's check that out. Levirate as a form of marriage serves useful purpose. So you can see over here, in a society, the marriage was serving some kind of purpose, some role, some function of the marriage can be seen here. What are the functions? The first one is it allows widow remarriage. In the Indian context, in the tribal context, there were so many young widows. And these widows, it was expected that they should get a second chance. The plight of the widows, the torture that the widows had to go through, all of us know because it has been mentioned in history as well. Therefore, the society felt that these widows should get a second chance, or they also encouraged widow remarriage. The second one is the widow also gets social security within the known family. Imagine she's become a widow. Now, if she has to get married again and go to a new family, start a new life, adjust with the new family, she has to start everything all over again from scratch. In that case, it would be difficult for this widow adjusting to the new family, the new norms, everything. But if she gets married to the husband's younger brother also stays in the same family. And his mother and father were already her in-laws. In that case, she will find that she has already adjusted in the family, so she will not have any new issues coming up. Third, this type of widow remarriage secures the children of the interfamily. All this while we are only talking about the widow. We have not brought children into the scene. What if she has children from the first husband? In that case, I don't think the second husband, if she gets married in a new place, would want to take the children. They might say, okay, you come along, but not your child. So, if she marries the husband's own younger brother, in that case, the children will also be under the safety and security of their own family. So the children will not face a problem, the widow will also not face a problem. Last but not the least, it strengthens the inter-family unity. Of course, the girl also has a family. In my marriage chapter, so many times I have explained, marriage is not about two individuals, it is about two groups of families. Two families coming together. If the girl is given a new life, is given a second chance, is provided with social security, then the affinal kins, the marital kins are called affinal kins, the unity between affinal kins will also grow stronger. Thus, for some economic and social advantage, such a system has been developed among the people. So I hope children you have understood levirate. Levirate, I told you, please learn the definition of levirate, the practice of a woman getting married to the dead husband's younger brother, right? And if she marries a younger brother, it's called junior levirate. If she marries the elder brother, it's called senior levirate. Several tribes in India, Oraos, Mundas, Khariyas, Bihors practice levirate. We also saw the reasons for the practice of this kind of marriage. Now let me quickly conclude today's online session with the third type of marriage called sororate. Sororate is just the opposite of levirate. What happens in sororate? In sororate, if the wife dies, in levirate, if the husband dies, the opposite of husband is wife. In case of the death of a wife, if the husband marries the wife's younger sister, this practice is known as sororate. My marriage lecture initially, in the kinship chapter lecture initially, when I explained joking relationship, the usage of joking relationship, there I had explained that societies want, right, individuals like the husband and the wife's younger sister, the wife and the husband's younger brother, to maintain a very, very informal, close, casual relationship. Reason being, on the death of any husband or wife, these individuals can act as potential mates. So this is what happens. We have seen in many movies also. This happens in most of the families also. If a wife dies and she does have a younger sister, then most of the families recommend the younger sister to get married to the brother-in-law. This practice is known as sororate. So let me just quickly read out. The practice of being actual or potential mate to one's wife's sister is called sororate. In most of the cases where bride price is taken, the bride's family commits itself to compensate the in-laws of the deceased daughter with a living one. And in tribal society, why do they encourage sororate? Is because in tribal societies, remember, we spoke of the system of bride price. Now you have already taken money from a person, but your daughter could not last long. It is almost like a form of replacement. So you have taken the bride price, you want to replace the bride price by giving another daughter. The bride price strengthens the link in the web of kinship, allowing disputes and hostility, imposing a check on the disruptive tendencies of intergroup conflict. The relatives of the bride are not interested in paying back the bride price, as sometimes in the condition in case of the bride's death. Rather, they are ready to give another daughter as a replacement to the early one. Next, we will see here, sororate is practiced among several tribes. For example, among the Hos, in case of wife's lifetime or death, husband can marry the younger sister. The Hos are from Bihar, right? This tribe feels that you do not have to wait for the death of the wife. When the wife is still alive also, if you marry the wife's sister, this form of marriage is also known as sororate. So dear children, I hope you have understood the three different forms of marriages. In my next lecture, I will go on with another